Hey guys, Dennis Wilburn, the Active Trend Trader. Me and the guys, we've got 3 great stocks this weekend that could be setting up for a nice launch next week, even though the market conditions don't necessarily favor long positions. Additionally, I'm going to cover 3 clues that will help you have higher probability trades when these clues line up. But first, take a look up in that corner and you'll see a drop down that talks about our AutoPilot trading service. Overview, a video I put together that shows exactly how AutoPilot trading service works. Hey, you want to watch it all the way to the end? So let's get down to business right now. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wilburn, the Active Trend Trader. I want to welcome you to today's session of Trade Your Way to Wealth and Financial Freedom. And this is our live session we do every Friday. Hey, Paula. Hey, Nicole. Tim, nice to see you there. Muhammad, great to see you. Great to see everybody. Hey, Jimmy, how you doing? David, Barbara, Barry, and David. Steve, we'll go ahead and... Can you hear us, Steve? Steve must not be able to hear us. So, Steve, can you hear us?
I think there is maybe some problem there.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go ahead and get going, and we'll wait for Steve to join us back here shortly. We've got 3 great stocks today we want to take a look at. I've got a couple of announcements to make. In your initial link, I sent this out to everybody. There is a fantastic session tomorrow put on by Molly and some of the IBD meetups. Our very own Anil Parikh will be one of the presenters. Those of you who know Floyd up in Anchorage, Alaska, is also one of the presenters. It's a total of 14 different IBD meetup group presenters going in with a few more. This is a event for charity for the Ukraine, and so it is a $20 entry fee, but it will be 4 hours worth of some of the best IBD organizers presenting about their sessions. And Anil, just a real quick brief. What are you going to be presenting on?
They have asked me to present my most valuable pick, the stock of the weeks, so to speak, and also what's the reasoning behind it. So I'll be talking about my triple screen, triple sort.
Excellent. And so for those of you at the very beginning of the chat, I laid in Ajit Desai's email address. What he asked is if you want to join this group, join in tomorrow's session. It's 1 o'clock on the East Coast, 10 o'clock Pacific time, and about 7 o'clock in the morning for us guys out here in Hawaii. And it's $20 to, and it all goes to Ukraine relief. And then in the message, if you send it via money to friends on PayPal, if you have that capability, and let them know it. Just put in the comments it's for Ukraine, and then put the email that you want the Zoom message sent to. Excellent. Awesome. Great, David. And so, yeah, I just got signed up today, looking very forward to what Anil has to say and what Floyd has to say. Let me tell you, if you do not have access to Anil's presentation from this past Tuesday night at the Bay Area Moneymakers for the Delaware triple screen system that he has pulled together, it is phenomenal. And I just want to say, well done with your work that you've done there, Anil. And again, every time I hear the presentation, it keeps getting better and better and better. So again, well done. And if you want access to that, guys, shoot me an email or drop me a comment in the YouTube channel, and we'll basically get you linked up so you can see that. There's no charge to be able to see the video. And also, if you join the Delaware meetup group, you can also get access to you can get access to the Thinkorswim basically download that'll allow you to upload Anil's charts and also how he does his watch list. So it's very valuable, good stuff. I've been playing with it, and the engineer in me has me tinkering a little bit, Anil. So forgive me.
No problem. If we can help.
And so Barry asked a question. If you can't make it, is it recorded? I don't know. Barry, do you know, Anil?
Yeah, for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yes, if you pay $20, the recording will be available.
There you go. And they'll send that out probably via email after the fact. So let's go ahead and jump into today's session. And just a reminder, we want to start your weekly review with us at Trade Your Way to Wealth and Financial Freedom Live. We'll be doing a market review. The market it's not in correction, but it's under pressure. And then stock picks for the week. Like I said, we've got 3 really good ones. And then a stock tip. I've got the stock tip today is something you're going to want to stay tuned for. It's basically talking about the convergence of clues and how do you know something's ready to trade or not. And we'll be covering that here shortly. And so welcome aboard, everybody. So here's where we're sitting as of the end of March. This is my profit and loss that I follow every year with the Active Trend Trading Service. And as you can see, we basically finished March. We were, up above 10%. And here's where we stood as of the end of last week. And here's where we stand at the end of this week. Haven't made a lot. Dropped a little bit, but not much considering what the market gave back. As you can see, the market has given back 3, 4, 5%. And the Russell honing in and punching towards getting another, being designated as a bear market. So the Russell looking weak, the NASDAQ looking weak. The Dow and the S&P are the strongest of the indexes that we currently pay attention to. So that's what. So let's go ahead and jump over into what I'm going to do is we're going to jump over and I'm going to let Anil talk to his stock first, and I will pop in and then Steve's stock, and then I will do mine at the end. And in between there, we will have some some discussion about the indexes and all that kind of stuff. So with that said, Anil, your stock was everybody's favorite electric vehicle company, Tesla. Now on the right, you have the weekly chart. On the left, on the right, you have the daily chart. On the left, you have the weekly chart. So tell us about this.
Yeah, I always check out the fundamentals first, and it's meeting one of my toughest screen. And in the Delaware focus list, it will come out rated 1 this Sunday. So that's one reason. And second thing is the triple screen signal system that I'm following. It gave a buy signal actually a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
On the daily and the weekly, it showed up as a buy signal again just this week.
Just this week, okay.
And I also follow Mark Chaikin, and the stock is listed as bullish. And I also, because triple screen strategy, it is a strategy, it's a fixed strategy, I can backtest that, and backtesting number are just phenomenal. Usually we require reward risk ratio of 3, like 7% stop loss and 20% profit, roughly 3. This one has a reward risk of more than 17.
Whoa. So are you buying it right now, or does it have to do something?
No, as a matter of fact, it says pulled back right now, so it offers a buying opportunity. It has pulled back from the signal I got in late March, and even earlier this week, it has.
Okay.
So
you would be buying right here.
Yeah, I already have it, but if somebody buying it, if I'm going to do it again, I can buy it right here, right now.
Okay. Yeah, I like this. One of the things to be aware of, guys, this gap up right here that you see, let me blow that up a little bit. There's a gap up right here, a raising window. And what are we doing? We're testing down into that. And those windows like that always tend to be very strong levels of either, in this case, support and or resistance. You have some other convergence of clues going on with Tesla. One, right at the 20-day moving average. So this is a total reversion to the mean of the 20. And so that looks pretty good. And then you would carry your regular 5% stop on that, Anil?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I like it. And then
so do I. So do I. And I took a trade in it yesterday, actually. It was going to be my pick for today, but you beat me to it.
Sorry.
Well, now, Steve, you got to tell the rest of the story. You slept in today, right?
Yep.
So Anil's going to beat each of us on to the punch on the stocks he picks on Friday, because he's up earlier than we are. So hey, Mohammed, you said yes. I understand they will be send you a brief survey. Okay, thank you. If you fill it, they will send you the recording. Roger that. Thank you. Looking forward to that. So that's what we have there. Let's go ahead and take a look. Take a look at the S&P. What the heck is it doing? And as you can see, I want to bounce this up a little bit. Similar type situation with the S&P. One of the things that we're getting is we're getting a nice little pullback. And from my perspective, check this out. TSI daily, right back to the zero line, which is oftentimes a strong level of either support and or resistance. This time it's support. And so we may be bouncing from there. For me to get an all green or all systems go, I would like to see a close back above the 8-day moving average. That would give us a higher level of probability of at least a run back up to the 461 level on the spiders. However, on the weekly charts, be aware what's going on over here. We've got a shooting star and then followed up with a bearish engulfing. So we kind of have a mixed market. And on this case, momentum-wise, on the longer-term weekly, is approaching the zero line from the lower level. And so this could act as resistance to break it down and send it lower. The big thing with the S&P, the way I see it, is if we get it closed below the 50-day moving average, we're probably going to go on down and test at the bottom of the Fibonacci box and or down here at this lower Fibonacci back. We may retest all the way back into here. However, that would require a close below the 50, a close below the 50-day moving average. NASDAQ. NASDAQ is represented by the Qs. Again, okay, it is weaker than the other. We have a gap down here. So what on the flip side of what we had saw earlier, the gap down, that makes this level right in there a strong level of resistance. And one of the things you can do if you want to is just go ahead and when you have these kind of gaps like this, go ahead and just lay in a little, there we go. And you can see that tells me that that structure right there is a structure of resistance. And so we can anticipate prices moving back up into that, but then going, not so fast. And we're right now below the 50, we're below the 200, and a much stronger sell signal on the weekly chart. Shooting star, bearish engulfing, puncturing down below the, actually it's below all the weekly moving averages. So that's, basically saying, hey, the Qs could bounce up, and then head back down. Since we have a close below, I'm not going to take this as a short trade yet. I would wait for a little bit of a pullback, maybe back up into the 50-day moving average. On the flip side of that, it could reverse totally and bounce back up. If you see an acceleration right here in the downtrend on the TSI, if it accelerates to the downside, and that would basically tell us that the price action is also accelerating to the downside. And so let's see now. Steve, he changed. Okay, Steve was going to go with Costco.
Yes, and they're almost the same trade. I was going to go with Costco, but I like Apple just a tad more.
There we go.
Mainly because it's structure.
Okay.
It's long term. I am very bullish on the market. I see Wyckoff developments that tells me the long term is good.
Okay.
We're in a short term pullback, and I think Apple is playing out just like I wanted to. And I wouldn't buy it today, but I would buy it above today's high on Monday.
Okay.
So if it continues to trade lower, I will follow it lower before an entry.
Okay.
But if it starts to trade higher, starts to firm up here, and I expect it will, I will be in it on Monday.
That's excellent. Okay. And so, yeah.
My stop would be right under today's low if Monday is an entry. Yeah.
And so, yeah, just be aware, guys, what's going on here is it is holding above the 50. That's positive. So that's a nice little flag back down to the 50-day moving average and a rebound on Apple. And you're going to be playing trading the stock or options on this one?
I always trade options when I have a choice. Yeah.
Okay. So
the
I like
other caveat. The other caveat is momentum's not quite coming back in yet, but
yeah,
I suspect with good price action, momentum will be up on Monday.
And with and let me just highlight something for everybody. If I can get this up here, there we go. One of the things on, as you can see, the TSI momentum and the market forecast momentum and even the MACD on the weekly charts, they're all kind of pointing to the upside, which is that's good. Longer term, that could be an indicative of something to move, a stronger move back up to the upside once whatever is going on, this pullback is over with. At the same time, we are not in sync with the dailies, which are all pointing down. So what that's telling us is that we want to make sure that we get a momentum shift that will basically give us an opportunity to jump in. One of the things I've been restudying, I went back and did some re-reviewing of a couple of items that of how to increase the level of probability on an excellent trade. If you get something that looks like this, a really nice pullback, waiting until you get a close above the 8-day moving average can sometimes increase the probability that the trade will be successful. That's just, and lessen the potential for what do you call it? Whipsaw.
Yeah. And I do basically the same thing, except I use price action for my entry and I don't really rely on indicators because they lag a little bit. But I like, if the price action occurs that I like, then I'm into the trade.
Roger that. And so let's go. Did I get an IWM? I have not got. I punched it in. I didn't complete the trigger. Okay. The Russell, it's kind of interesting. This could be considered a very bullish signal on the Russell if it stalls right here, if it stalls out right here and then punches higher. It has not done that yet. However, when you are in a system like this where you're running between highs and lows and price actions appear to stop midway down the range of this horizontal trading range, that oftentimes is an initial indication that's an initial indication that a bullish move is very near in the future. And so just be aware of that. And so what I'm looking at with the NASDAQ, guys, if you could slide any of your comments or questions over into the chat box and make it available to everyone. That way it ggets recorded. And so if you see the index is falling down to those lower levels, where do you see the big money going? Unfortunately, I'm a person who thinks that you don't fight the Fed. Yeah, I agree with that, Tim. You don't fight the Fed. And at this particular point, the market has got a lot of headwind. And so what we want to do here is if we get prices that fall all the way down to here, that's just a level of interest. Price action then has to prove itself that it's ready to bounce back up the other way. Does that make sense? Because just because it gets down here doesn't mean it can't go lower. Just, look at
one comment, Dennis, I might make is what is happening is classic. What you described is classic Wyckoff, and he talked about it in trading ranges. And one of the clues you like is a fake out above the trading range, and then pulling back in and holding the halfway level.
Right.
And that's for a long-term trade, that's often the ideal Wyckoff buy.
Yeah.
As it comes back out of the trading range. But it has to happen. It looks like it may happen. It's not yet happening.
Yeah, it hasn't yet happened. But it also, at the same time, Steve, you have to identify the zones, the value zones where you want to start taking action. Where you may want to take action.
Absolutely.
This is a zone. Now, is it going to reverse and go back up? And again, it gets back to one of my original statements is what I've been, go back and doing some additional research is the clues that I'm looking for an actual entry. I have to be looking at, I can take this entry, but if I don't get a close back above the 8-day moving average fairly quickly, it's within like 3 days, it's telling me that this potential trade is probably not going to work out.
And I'll go a little further. It will work out. It's going to resolve positively, like you described, in my opinion, of course.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is if it doesn't close back above the 8, it's not going to resolve. I mean, so anyway, okay. And here's my pick for the day. Ready? Lows. It is coming up off of a bottom, looking very good. A nice early cross here on the market forecast, on the TSI and the market forecast, and the MACD on the daily chart, also in sync with the weeklies. We're getting a bullish harami on the weekly here. We are getting a cross back above the 8-day moving average there. Here's what I would like to do. I will wait until 15 minutes before the market closes. And if my prices are between $205.42 and $206.50, I will go ahead and take a trade going into the weekend. If not, I will basically look to place a trade bouncing off of the 8-day, which is back at about what is the 8-day? You just check up here. The 8-day is currently at 205.50. And so again, I can put that in as an order, conditional order, stop limit with a stop being at 205.42 and a limit at 206.50 and have it trigger at 15 minutes before the end of the day. And if it gets filled today, great. And I've sized it out in the whole 9 yards. And this is the anticipation of a 10%, 5 to 10% run prior to earnings. And earnings are coming up on this one on 5/18. It's looking very positive. And again, got a green light with a close above the 8-day moving average. And everything else looks positive. That's my pick today, guys.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, looks good.
I like it. Yep. Okay, cool. So that takes care of that. And so here's what the next thing is. Okay. Our tip for today is convergence of clues. Wait for 3 of them. Wait for 3 of them. I know, especially with the markets the way they are currently in. 1, I want price action. What do I want to wait for? I want to wait for 1, a reversal candlestick at support. At support. Now I'm talking about bullish trades. So I'm looking for a reversal candlestick at support. Now that could be within the last 2 or 3 days that I got that I get that reversal signal. But that's clue number 1. Clue number 2. This increases the probability of successful trade. Is price action close above the 8-day EMA? And then convergence clue number 3. Wait for the momentum shift from down to up, especially on the daily chart, if that's what's going to be triggering your trade. So if you fade a trade, which means you've already identified your level of support where you think it's going to bounce, and you only have, like, let's say 1 or 2 of these, clues in place when it does its bounce, get the heck out of the trade if the rest of the clues don't basically come together, as I was just talking with Steve about, is if they don't come together within 3 days, there's probably a likelihood that there's some additional consolidation that needs to be done before you'll have a higher probability trade. And so don't be afraid to pull the trigger and say, don't be afraid to just pull the trigger and say, hey, I'll come back for this when it's appropriate. Momentum shift, that's a great question, Barry, and I'll show you exactly what's happening. Here's my momentum indicator, the TSI. See, I'm shifting from the down trend back up to the uptrend. That is a momentum shift. Now, you can do it a couple of different ways. Is basically, here we are getting a crossover. There can also be let me blow this up just a little bit for you. There we go. You can also throw in a momentum shift this way, where I'm tracking down, and then I break that trend line right there. That is also, I have 2 momentum shifts. 1 when I cross up, 2 when I actually break that downtrend on the momentum. And that's what I like about using the TSI rather than the RSI, because it draws in some very nice opportunities. And what's going on else is going on here? Well, Lowe's at that point actually closed back above the 8 and went on for a nice little move. If I get in there, what's my stop out? Is basically I want to look for a reversal candlestick and a close below the 8, if you just want to keep it really simple. And so Barry, it does kind of sometimes look like the stochastics, but it isn't. It does a lot better, a lot of other things besides what the stochastics do. And so anyway, so that answers your question? Got it. Thanks. Okay, Stephen and Nell, if you always do what you always done, you always get what you've always got. Henry Ford. Remember, traders should, that all materials we present are for training purposes. Traders should always paper trade any new method prior to the risk of your own personal capital. Past performance is not an indication or a promise of future performance. I want to go back to one thing. Anil and Steve. Okay, here's some of the clues I wait for. What are some of the clues that you wait for that have to be in place before you take a long position?
For me, it's pretty much what you just described. I'm looking for price action at a particular level in the chart, and some idea that buyers have come in if I'm buying, or sellers if I'm selling. So a kind of a view of momentum.
Okay.
I don't do much different than that.
And Anil?
I think my end, I'm just trying to simplify my life. So I now do not take a trade unless I have a buy signal on triple screen on daily.
Roger that. Okay.
It's going to show up. It's going to show up on daily. And yeah, I might lose some opportunity, but I want that confirmation on the daily triple screen. Then I go.
And so, excellent. So, guys, that basically concludes us for today. Let us know what you think about the trading tips. Hopefully, they're giving you some clues. Sorry about the pun there, but giving you some clues about things you may need to add to your own trading plan to make sure that, one, you're increasing the probability of better trades. And so, with that, 2022, we're looking for patience and persistence and consistency. And we're being proved that those are the traits and that we need for this crazy market. Aloha, trade well and prosper. And of course, mahalo. God bless everybody. And again, sign up for tomorrow's session so we can hear Anil speak. And Steve and Anil both, thank you, gentlemen, so much for a great Friday. I think this is a really good one.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
Good to be here.
Okay, everybody. Well, with that, we'll say aloha to everybody, and we'll catch you next week. See ya.